Hello everyone and welcome back. You might reach into a jar of change and grab a nickel without a second thought. It's small. It's ordinary. And to most people a nickel is just 5 cents. But coins tell stories about history, minting, mistakes, and sometimes unexpected value. Today I want to talk about one of those ordinary-looking coins that could still hide something interesting. The 1998 D Jefferson nickel. The Denver strike you'll recognize by the little D mint mark on the obverse. We'll look at what fine condition really means for this piece. How much a typical circulated 1998 D is worth today in U.S. dollars. What rare examples bring at auction. And exactly how you should inspect one if you think you might have something special. The Jefferson nickel design you see on this coin goes back decades. Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, and by 1998 the mint was striking these in huge numbers. The Denver Mint produced roughly 635.36 million Jefferson nickels in 1998. So this date and mint mark are very common in circulation. The coin is the standard modern composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighs about 5.00 grams, and measures 21.20 millimeters across, so physically, it's identical to other modern Jefferson nickels you handle every day. Those production numbers help explain why most 1998 D examples are easy to find and generally not rare. When collectors talk about condition, what they mean is how much the coin's details have been worn by circulation. A fine grade, often given as F12 to F15 on the Sheldon scale, describes a coin that has obvious, even wear but still retains the major design elements. On a Jefferson nickel in fine condition, you'll see Jefferson's portrait clearly, but the finer hair and facial details are smoothed. On the reverse, Monticello will be intact but flattened in the finer lines. The steps and architectural details will be present but weak. Fine is a middle ground circulated grade, not heavily battered, but not crisp or mint state either. Understanding this helps set realistic expectations about market value. So what is a run-of-the-mill 1998 D Jefferson nickel in fine condition worth today? For ordinary circulated examples without special attributes, the realistic answer is that they are typically worth close to face value. Maybe a little more to a collector completing a date and mint set. Price guides and dealer listings commonly show circulated 1998 nickels trading for only a few cents to a few dollars depending on exact condition and eye appeal. In short, if you find a worn 1998 D that looks like everyday pocket change, don't expect a big payday. Its market value is modest because of that very large mintage and wide availability. That said, coins that look ordinary can sometimes hide attributes that dramatically increase value. One of the most sought-after features on Jefferson nickels is what collectors call full steps. On Monticello, if you can see all 6 steps fully separated and well-defined on the reverse, that indicates a strong strike and is more desirable than a weakly struck example. Full steps examples from some dates have sold for significant premiums compared to common circulated pieces. In fact, very well-preserved and sharply struck Jefferson nickels with full steps or superb surfaces have sold in the hundreds or even thousands for exceptional mint state examples. Auction records and specialist sales show the high end of the market for such coins. For 1998 D specifically, full steps examples exist in circulation and are identified and priced by collectors. They are rare enough among circulated examples to be worth looking for. Another route to higher value is errors and die varieties. The minting process is complex, and mistakes happen. Some 1998 D nickels have been offered as doubled die obverses, doubled mint marks, off-center strikes, planchet problems or die chips. These kinds of anomalies can push a coin's value well above face, sometimes into double digits or more depending on how dramatic and collectible the error is. Many error-type nickels are modestly valued. A small die chip or light doubling might only add a few dollars, but truly dramatic errors or well-documented doubled dies can be much more valuable. Online auction listings and error collecting communities are good places to compare and see what similar items actually sold for. Proofs and mint state survivors are the other obvious way the value scale moves. Most 1998 D pieces were business strikes for circulation. But if a specimen somehow escaped into a mint state with amazing surfaces and was later slabbed and certified by PCGS, NGC, or another major grading service, its auction value could be substantially higher than a circulated fine example. Certified mint state examples with high numerical grades and attractive eye appeal are what bring the larger sums. Those are the exceptions, not the rule. But they exist and show how wide the value spectrum can be for a single date and mint mark. If you want to check a coin yourself, here is a practical, repeatable inspection routine you can demonstrate on camera. Use a 10 times loop or a good phone macro camera. Clean surface lighting, not harsh direct light, in a soft background. First, confirm the mint mark, the D on the obverse near the date. Make sure that the mark is actually part of the coin and not a scratch or later damage. Second, study Jefferson's hair and face. Are those lines present or heavily smoothed? If they re-smoothed but the portrait is intact, fine is a reasonable eye grade. Third, flip to the reverse and examine Monticello closely. The area collectors watch is the steps below the building. Can you see the individual steps distinctly? If yes, note that as full steps. Fourth, look for any evidence of doubling in the date, Liberty, or motto, and examine the rim and fields for off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet issues. Finally, check the surfaces for cleaning marks or harsh scratches. Cleaned or polished coins lose value for collectors. Take clear photos, front, back, close-ups, to document what you see. If you think you've found a full steps example, a dramatic error, or a coin with exceptional surfaces, save those photos. They'll be essential if you decide to get it authenticated. If your inspection convinces you that the coin could be noteworthy, don't clean it or try to improve its appearance. That can destroy collector value. Instead, consider getting a professional opinion. Online collector forums, reputable coin shops, and third-party grading services like PCGS, NGC, or Annex can authenticate and grade your coin. Certification provides documented proof of the coin's condition and any varieties. And coins in certified slabs generally sell for higher prices than raw, uncertified examples. If you plan to sell, certified coins attract more confident bidders and better final sale prices in auctions. For the viewers who want concrete numbers to mention in a video, with a very common modern date like 1998 D and a fine grade, expect the market value to be modest, typically near face value up to a few dollars depending on condition and the buyer. For a full steps circulated example or a modest error, prices can be in the low tens of dollars in many listings. For certified mint state gems, exceptional strike full steps examples, or well-documented dramatic errors, auction records show prices that rise into the hundreds or more for the very best specimens. Remember that these higher figures represent a tiny fraction of surviving coins and are not the norm for a typical fine 1998 D. Cite auction records and specialist price guides when claiming high-end values, because a single sensational sale doesn't change the mass market reality. If you decide to sell a coin you believe is valuable, be smart about it. For common circulated pieces, local coin dealers or bulk online listings are fine. For anything with a suspected error, full steps designation, or an unusually high grade, list it with detailed photos on specialized marketplaces or through auction houses that handle coins. Always disclose condition, show close-ups of the details, and keep provenance where you found it. Any prior ownership if you have it. Getting a second opinion from a grading service or experienced dealer will often pay for itself in final sale price and buyer confidence. To sum up for your audience, Most 1998D Jefferson Nickels in fine condition are common and typically worth little more than face value because of their very large mintage. However, a careful look can reveal full steps, interesting errors, or exceptionally sharp survivors that have significantly higher collector value. The trick is knowing what to look for, documenting it well, and getting professional authentication when something looks unusual. That's the thrill of coin hunting. The ordinary can sometimes hide the extraordinary, and a small piece of metal can tell a lot of different stories depending on its strike, condition, and history. Thank you for watching the entire video. You can tell us in the comments what we should make the next video about.